Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper, and in this video today, guys, we're going to show you another build by offgridcontracting.com. Today we're going to show you a 900 watt off-grid install for a camper. Now this takes this camper completely off-grid. All you've got to do is a push of a button and you're ready to rock and roll. So we're going to take you step by step through the build, how we done it, and I hope you enjoy it. William, I appreciate letting me come out and do an install for you, and I hope you're pleased with what we done for you.
Yes, most definitely. I am very pleased with the whole system. Everything works exactly like it should. We've been putting it to the test each weekend. Even with heavy shade, we're still producing electricity, and it is just amazing. And this here is plugged in completely just off the battery pack, and then the rest of the unit, I mean, we can watch TV. We have Sirius XM radio, and we can be in the middle of anywhere, and we're just having everything we need. The AC, everything is just perfect. I cannot complain. It is just awesome. I mean, the extra solar panels, the panels are great. Very resilient, you know.
I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate the business and being able to share that with others, that we got satisfied customers.
Well, thank you for the support of the Wounded Warrior program also. That was very thoughtful.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Now guys, right here is Renogy panels is what we're putting on for the client today, and you can see right there the specifications on it. Now this is the same type panel that I used for the portable single mount solar setup that I showed you in the past. Beautiful panels. They're very durable. I have abused mine off-grid. I've abused it job site, you name it. They're just really built solid. Now, as far as how many we're going to put on, this is going to be a 900 watt setup. Right here you can see the brackets, how they mount. Now I like it because they have flanges on the side to help hold the panel in place, so it don't, you know, unlike some of the Z brackets that are out there, you know, some might flex around or whatever on the roof. These actually hold it true in place, and that'll be good because the client's camper, you know, if it's going down the road and you're hitting bumps and flexing, the panels aren't shifting around on the roof, and that won't ever snap your screws or back it out either. And we're going to have the silicone under the plate, and then they also have the seal washer on the top, so just a good watertight seal so you don't have no roof leaks and void any warranty. There's a lot of cable that we're going to have to run today. I'm just going to have to take you through that step by step. Right here we're using the type adapters that I love, the Y adapters. The reason I love these so much is because it gives you so much room to flex within the cables, because if you do, the block adapters, they're okay in a tight space that you're just going to have a couple panels together, for example, like that tiny house install I done. But if you're going to do a large span of panels and things, these are the best option to go. And if you're going to have multiple right beside each other and then multiple runs, is these branch Ys right here like this are great also, because you can tie 3 at a time together and then drop into these Ys here where that will join all that together, and I'll cover that here in just a little bit. The charge controller, really nice 60 amp charge controller, 12 volter. It has so many settings. I honestly think this will probably be the longest part of the install, is going through and programming this controller, because it has so much option and versatility as far as everything that you need to know with the discharge, the loads, the dumps, everything, and it tells you there on the interface at all times. I like it. It even has a smiley face to let you know, so if something's not out of place, I mean, it's very quick to inform you. We'll get in that too. There's the charge controller. You got your 2 coming in, 2 to the battery, 2 to the load, and I'm going to fix up 2 MC4 cables for the client that it'll come off, and they can, if they want to ever sell it to the electric company, they can go through the process of that, and all the dump, when their RV sitting at home, can just dump all that excess power, run their electric bill down, so that's huge. So we'll get into that. And then lastly, the inverter is a 2,000 watt Samlex power. This is a DC to AC inverter, and it is pure sine wave. So, you know, they're going to be running an AC unit, things like that, so you don't want to have a modified sine wave inverter if you're going to run it constantly without having some electric hookup to the normal grid. So that'll work out good for them. Right here is the inverter remote. So we'll mount that very neatly into the interior on the RV, and right there is power display and everything, so just let you know. That's really nice. And here is the inverter. Very sleek, and it's got a good fan system on it. Vent that out. I actually like this inverter. It's one of my favorite of all of them that you can use for just simple off-grid application. And the port function on it is just so easy that when you mount that up to the wall and you run that to the remote, that if you're just wiring an AC plug in to backfeed that is like a 30 amp drop into an RV for like off-grid use, just so that you're not plugged into the campground per se. That's very easy to wire that in, and then you just hit the remote right there inside and you're golden. So anyway, let's get started mounting these solar panels. Okay guys, now we've got the panels prepped, ready to go. Now you can see all these are the outside flanges set like so, and then all these are going to be the inside flanges on the mounts for the brackets. Now I haven't cut the MC4 cables loose yet because I want everything neat until we get up on top of the roof. But what's going to go down is the customer wants the panels to come back here from the first 6, because we have some AC, cooling, and a lot of other things in the way, is we're going to have 2/3 of the install up front, and it's going to come back through MC4 cable, tie in with the back 3, and then drop down this right here on the banister that's going to come out, go down and then in, and right underneath, I'll show you here in a little bit, but they're the actual cables that come back and tie from the battery bank. We're going to tie into that, and so that'll back feed to that. And then as far as the load and everything, I'll show you as far as the charge controller how it's going to handle all that, but it's going to be a really neat install once it's done. Alright, now at this point we're on the roof of the RV, and you can see here that we've got the panels laid out in a 4-array across here, and then there's 2 panels here, the one obviously where I'm going to be not standing in a minute. We're going to put that in last, and I'm just going to sneak over and hook all the final hookups together and run the wire loom. I'm going to get a lot of this loom done ahead of time so that the last final finish I'm only having to just teeter-totter over for just a second. But I'll show you how these Y branch adapters work. What you have here is a Y, and you have 3 hots or 3 grounds coming off. I'm sorry, there's the 3 hots. Here's the 3 grounds coming like so. And you just tie those together very neatly, and you want to make sure your wires aren't overlapping each other, so when you go to wire loom that, and all that can come together and just neatly tuck that under. Now, at this point, when you're done with that, I'll show you here at the last of the final finish that you're going to dump those Ys into right here, like so, and then what you will have is you'll have a leftover slot because you only got 2, so that will go in to this one just like so. And that last Y with the 3 will come into here, and then you'll only have 2 drops, which is going to go one from this one to the MC4 cable going down, and the other MC4 cable going down as your final drop, and that's it. I mean, it's very user friendly, and one reason why I love doing solar with MC4 cables. So we'll show you the final finish on all this in a minute, and then it's down the RV it goes. Okay guys, now at this point in the build, as you can see right here, we've got the first row of panels in place, then we've done our second row, and then this last row was the tie-in. Now what I've done is that if you look at this as far as the wiring goes, these 3 panels came to a Y adapter, these 3 panels came to a Y adapter, and these 3 panels came together. And you can see how we neatly tucked all that and wire loomed it. And now the drop ties in out there where the 2 Y adapters came together to those others. And that came out this lead here that's very neatly in the center of those panels. Around this, we snaked around it. It's actually attached right here with the air unit, and then it's going to drop down right there, as you can see, with the rollout, the sun cover. Now at this point we're going to attach that to the charge controller once we get that inside and we're ready to rock out. Now that's the open voltage on these right now is about 20, almost 21 volts, and we've got those siliconed in. You can see the silicone and the brackets and everything are in place really good. And one thing I love about Renogy brackets is that, as you can see, the contour of the roof, it's uninterrupted. I mean, it flowed really well and everything's in place good. So now at that point, now that we got the panels wiped down and everything, it's just to the final finish. Alright guys, now at this point we've got the charge controller mounted up, and you can see right here now that we're on the ground, the wire loom's coming down. Now that's going to be C-clipped over very neatly, and then it's going to shoot in right here. You can see that wire loom, it'll come in, and then it's going to be siliconed. And now then the wires, I've already like cut the negative, the ground right here, and now that'll actually go right there to a separate setup that the client can use later, whatever they want to use the dump load for, some additional MC4 to go to whatever. And then right here we'll have the negative come in over here for the solar, and then the hot come in over here for the solar, and then it'll come off of there and it'll go down, and there's an access port that you can see right back there that'll come in and go over and meet up with the hot and the ground from the battery, so it'll actually backfeed into that. And that way you don't have to run a string all the way to the front for the DC, because you already have access at the backside for what would be the normal inverter. And then at that point, all we've got to do is hook off the battery over to the inverter and we're good to go. Now guys, at this point what I've done is I'm not going to pull this panel back out, but really essentially there is a terminal lead right here for the ground and a terminal lead for the hot from the battery up front, and the bank that's up front. So what we're going to do at this point is, if you've got your charge controllers, you'll just bring those leads into this, and that I will show you this much right here. You can actually see right here I just came into that terminal lead, and then there's the hot coming in right there, and so that just links up. There was actually multiple screw ins where you could tie in extra battery, and so I tied that in, and then we put the panel back on. So that's got our batteries coming in. Now what we also done is we've got additional battery bank here wired in parallel. It's 12 volt, and these are the Marine dual purpose Optimus. And what we're doing right now is we're wiring the batteries in out there to the inverter. So this is an additional bank. So what we're going to have is another two legs drop off the inverter, or I'm sorry, the charge controller over to the leads that are outside tied in with the inverter. So you're actually going to be feeding power to two banks. The 12 volt things that look like lights and things like that in here will run off the front and off the solar that's coming in. And then this back here will actually run all the critical loads like the AC, refrigerators, things like that. So you actually have a dual benefit of both banks, which is going to be really awesome for the customer. Now the other thing that we've got cooking here is we're going to actually jumper beyond the input for AC power outside, where you would have your normal plug outside to hook up your camper at the campground. We're actually tying in right here, and that is going to go snake through in the interior hidden, and that's going outside, and you'll see here shortly that's going to hook into the inverter. And then depending on where we mount the switch and everything with a COM port, you just simply push the button and the whole camper will go off grid, and you don't even have to plug in at the campground anymore. Everything is completely independent and solar powered. So right now I'm going to finish wiring this in, and really all that needs to be done with that is tie in the grounding and then the hot and the negative in with that there, and then that's going to go out the inverter. And then at the next step we're going to move outside and we're going to show how all this ties in together. Alright, now guys, as you can see right here, this is the cables coming out from the battery bank that we've established inside, and it's coming up and over right now. Now this obviously for aesthetics, this will be tucked away later, and that comes on around obviously through a dropout fuse. You want to have a dropout fuse in place. And now we have our dump load still coming off out of the way, and now we have this large 5,000 watt pure sine wave inverter, 10,000 watt surge. And now you can see this cable right here. We have another coupling to go on the other end, because what happens is when you have this camper hooked in to a power source, you can't have the inverter hooked up at the same time. That's the only drawback to do an off-grid system. The only thing about that is when you do go off-grid, it's literally as simple as plugging in and turning the on switch on your off-grid. Now, once you plug that in, at that point you have enough current and draw to run AC unit, microwave, everything on your camper. Now the other thing that we found out, the customer pointed out as well, is that the converter switch that is in your breaker panel inside your RV or camper, you need to make sure and turn that off whenever you are hooking up your system like this to run off grid, whenever you are off grid. That way you don't have an issue. But otherwise you should be golden, and at that point you've got your solar system done, your battery is done, your charge controllers in place, and your inverter. And literally, I mean, it just looks like a regular camper, and you'd never even know it other than this drop and some panels. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this build. Make sure to check us out at offgridcontracting.com. Real estate, tiny houses, alternative energy, food production, you name it, security installs, we do it all. Until we see you again here at Seven Trumpets Prayer Channel, I hope you have a most blessed day in Yahushua's name.